say that one more time, I'm going to get out of you when I see you.
To no one's surprise, reports are coming out that Shannon Sharpe's career with Disney is over. For those who aren't aware, Disney owns pretty much everything.
I can tell you, I also spoke to co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy Pitaro, who made it very, very clear we are taking this matter very seriously.
Shannon Sharpe just got blindsided, and not even the NFL could prepare him for this hit. 1 minute, he was ESPN's go-to guy, living the dream with million-dollar contracts and that shiny media persona. The next, boom, Disney and ESPN dropped him like he was toxic. No warning, no backup plan, just gone. And what followed wasn't just some messy fallout, it was a full-on collapse. Old lawsuits popped up, secret hush money deals got exposed, and then came the audio clips. Loud, wild, and unfiltered. That's when things really spiraled. Folks inside ESPN started turning on him fast. Disney's top execs freaked out, terrified that their squeaky clean brand was now linked to serious heat. Suddenly, those big dollar deals? Gone. His empire? Cracking at the foundation. And Shannon? He didn't see it coming. He wasn't ready, not even close. But instead of laying low, sources say he's behind the scenes boiling with rage. And word is, he's got a revenge plan brewing that could take down half the network with him. Insiders are whispering that if Shannon goes down, he's taking names and swinging hard. His clean legacy? It's going up in smoke. And he's ready to light the match himself. And here's the wildest part. People been sensing something off about Shannon for a while. Like deep down, folks knew but just didn't want to admit it. Why? Because it's Shannon Sharpe, a towering figure, a black man who rose up and made it big, someone the public wanted to keep rooting for. But let's be real, Shannon might have heart, charisma, and NFL wisdom for days, but when it comes to smart moves outside that field, that's where he fumbles. Bad. Put a camera in front of Shannon Sharpe, and the man delivered. During his run with Skip Bayless on Undisputed, he was everywhere. Loud, funny, unfiltered. His memes, they were keeping Black Twitter alive through the pandemic. So when that show ended, it made total sense for Stephen A. Smith to grab him for First Take. On screen, it felt like a heavyweight tag team, TV gold. Shannon had that laid-back Southern uncle energy on lock. Brown liquor, cigars, do-rag. He leaned all the way in. Some folks gave it the side-eye, calling the act coon-adjacent, but he was so hilarious and charismatic that people mostly let it slide. And then came Club Shay Shay. His personal brand took off like a rocket in 2024 after that wild Cat Williams interview. At that point, Shannon was riding high. Every network wanted a slice of him. Word on the street was he had a $100 million deal on the table with ESPN. But just when it looked like he was untouchable, Shannon did what nobody expected. He fumbled, big time. He reminded everybody that when it comes to judgment, he might not be built for this spotlight. Now, older dudes dating younger women ain't new. Eddie was almost 40 when he linked up with 19-year-old Cassie. Eddie Murphy's got a whole squad of kids and still married someone 20 years younger. But Shannon? He took it way too far. At 54, he was linked to a 19-year-old girl. And even Leonardo DiCaprio might have raised an eyebrow like, yo, chill. But it ain't just the age gap that blew things up, it's what got caught on tape. Shannon allegedly told her he'd choke her if she kept talking slick. And it was all on recording. The drama hit different when audio enters the chat. Whether she set him up or not, the fact that Shannon actually said it, that just screams zero awareness. And let's not even start on the X-rated tape situation. It's beyond messy. Somehow, some way, there's a tape out there floating in the wild. And Shannon? He didn't even lock it down with an NDA. Like, how are you in your 50s, stacked with millions, and still acting like you're pledging a frat in your first semester? Especially after all that heat he caught on Instagram last year. Remember that viral moment where his private life got exposed on the gram? That should have been the wake-up call right there. Time to tighten up the team, get the lawyers in, slap NDAs on everyone, and shut the drama down before it starts. But nope, Shannon moved reckless again. And now, things are looking real bad. ESPN and Disney? Yeah, they're not riding for him this time. It didn't even take 2 days for the walls to start caving in. ESPN tried to spin it all slick, saying Shannon was stepping away to handle personal matters. But come on, nobody's buying that PR fluff. Insiders were quick to leak that this wasn't some chill little break. It was damage control in overdrive. One source even dropped, "There are reports circulating that Shannon Sharpe's career at ESPN is over." I hit up someone close to production at ESPN and they told me he's still on First Take Mondays and Tuesdays. But that's it. Every other day he's off the air. No surprise, fans in the comments were already clocking it. Yeah, I think he'll be let go, one said. They covered for him last time, but not this time. The loyalty? It's fading. Fast. This time, it's different. And honestly, it's hard to see Shannon making it out of this and keeping that ESPN seat warm. Whether he's guilty or not, a man his age should not be putting himself in this kind of mess, especially not with that kind of spotlight on him. Even Stephen A. Smith, the guy who personally went to bat for Shannon to get him hired, had to hop on his podcast and admit he called up Disney's head honcho himself. He knew what was coming. This wasn't just some vacation break or time off to regroup. This was a slow, silent exit, timed perfectly before the NFL season kicked off. They weren't protecting Shannon, they were protecting the brand. But the moment the lawsuit hit the news, game over. A massive $50 million civil suit filed by a 21-year-old woman accused Shannon of assault, battery, and emotional distress during what he claimed was a consensual relationship. Shannon's team tried to spin it fast, saying everything was consensual BSM and that this whole thing was a setup, a money grab being pushed by Tony Busby, the same aggressive attorney who's been chasing Diddy and Jay-Z through the courts. But none of that mattered. Not to Disney, and not to ESPN's staff. People inside the building started making noise, calling out the double standards, pointing out how women at ESPN got let go for way less. The tension? It was boiling. The trust? Gone. The truth was staring everyone in the face. Shannon wasn't just in hot water. He was done. The network had already made its decision. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Once that lawsuit dropped, it cracked the whole thing wide open, and all of Shannon's skeletons came flying out like a busted storage unit. And trust, that closet was stuffed tighter than a Shane warehouse. First up, his type. Shannon's long history of chasing super young, racially ambiguous women while publicly throwing shade at black women with self-respect finally caught up to him. And no moment made that clearer than the awkward disaster with Yvonne Orji. Chad Ochocinco tried to link Shannon with Yvonne, a stunning, successful woman who proudly lives celibate and stands in her faith. Basically, the kind of woman men say they want. But Shannon? He didn't just say no, he clowned her on camera, straight up laughed like it was a joke. Then he hit the internet with a wild curveball, throwing out the name of Miss B Nasty, a white OnlyFans star, as more his vibe. It wasn't just disrespectful, it was loud, mean, and it exposed something ugly. Shannon made it clear his version of an ideal woman was the total opposite of a black woman walking in dignity and strength. And once social media put the pieces together, that pattern, unmistakable. Enter Gabriela Zuniga, the 21-year-old at the center of the lawsuit. Young, check. White passing, check. Vulnerable, check. She fit Shannon's type exactly. But Gabriela didn't stop at just calling out toxic behavior. She went nuclear. She claimed Shannon secretly recorded her without consent, blew right past her safe words, and kept crossing the line even when she begged him to stop. And when she tried to walk away, that's when things allegedly got worse. Allegedly, Shannon tried to throw $10 million at Gabriela to keep her quiet. But when she refused and took it public, he cried, "Shakedown." Problem is, the damage was already done. And those leaked audio clips? They only made things worse. One recording reportedly caught Shannon saying something wild, while another had him straight up joking about the whole thing. It was a terrible look. His legal team scrambled, trying to hit back with screenshots and receipts, showing old texts where Gabriela allegedly asked for rough play, domination, and even crossed-the-line roleplay. But here's where everything falls apart. Even if 99% of it was consensual, the moment she said no and he allegedly kept pushing, that's it. Game over. Consent ain't a one-time pass, it's something you have to check every step of the way. Ignoring a no changes everything, and that's where the story flipped from wild to dangerous. But Gabriela's claims weren't the only ones that started resurfacing. Once the headlines hit, more skeletons came stomping out of Shannon's past. A brand new report popped up, saying that back during his undisputed days with Skip Bayless, Shannon got into it with a female production assistant. Quiet settlement? Yep. Allegedly in the hundreds of thousands. No big public mess back then. Just hush money and a clean sweep under the rug. Then came the drama with his ex, Michelle Evans. That one dates back to 2010, but it still packs a punch. Michelle reportedly filed a restraining order, saying Shannon got physical during a breakup after cheating accusations. She claimed he forced her to her knees, and it's been sitting there, buried, until now. Now, it's all back in the spotlight, and the past is catching up fast, and it gets darker. Michelle claimed Shannon assaulted her without consent. That situation, it didn't just disappear, it allegedly got him quietly dropped from CBS Sports back in the day. Now the past is repeating itself, and it's looking way too familiar. Fast forward to her interview with Tasha K, and Michelle didn't hold back. She spilled even more on Shannon's obsessive bedroom behavior, his need for control, and a darker, twisted side the public never got to see. And if you thought the Club Shay Shay episodes with Monique and Cat Williams aged badly before, go run them back now. They hit different. Monique literally begged Shannon on camera to stop chasing young women and find a grown woman who could actually love him the right way. She told him, "Do it, Shannon." But he couldn't, or wouldn't. Then Cat Williams chimed in, cracking jokes but still hitting hard truth, saying it's risky for black men to mess around with young white women. His tone, half playful, half warning. It was clear. Folks around Shannon saw this coming. But let's keep it real. Disney and ESPN didn't cut Shannon off because they suddenly developed a conscience. Nah, they dropped him because pressure was boiling inside the company. People, especially women on staff, started demanding real consequences. Multiple insiders came forward saying the hypocrisy was wild. Women were losing their jobs over minor issues while Shannon kept his seat despite some serious accusations hanging over his head. The double standard? Too loud to ignore. And beyond the outrage, there was fear. Fear of lawsuits, fear of the headlines, and fear that another Dapper Me Too storm was about to explode right under ESPN's roof. Disney didn't wait for the fire. They saw smoke and got out fast. And let's be real, Disney don't care about loyalty. What they care about? Shareholders, sponsors, and keeping that image squeaky clean at all costs. The second Shannon turned into a liability, they were done with him. Overnight, he went from asset to risk. Meanwhile, women at ESPN were already speaking up, talking about how they got punished for things as small as snapping a pic with a politician during COVID. Meanwhile, Shannon's sitting there facing way heavier accusations and still clocking in. That was a problem, a big one. Disney could see the storm brewing. A massive discrimination lawsuit was right there, ready to explode. So they didn't hesitate. They cut ties fast and kept it moving. Now they're trying to pass it off like Shannon's just stepping away till football season. But let's not kid ourselves. He's not coming back. Even if he did, that reputation is stained for good. It's tragic in a way. Shannon had the talent and the star power to be bigger than Stephen A. He could have built his own sports empire. But instead, he's out here trying to salvage his public image from the wreckage. And poor Stephen A. Smith? He's out here looking like the one stuck in the middle of the mess. He vouched for Shannon, brought him into First Take, promised everybody it'd be a ratings win. Now, he's scrambling, trying to backpedal and distance himself from the heat. The mask is off, the receipts are out, and the timeline? It's packed with red flags we all ignored, because Shannon was funny, viral, and relatable. But underneath the memes and muscle tees was a man making reckless moves, burning bridges and playing with flames he couldn't control. And now, the fire finally caught up with him. Shannon really thought he was untouchable. Too loved, too polished, too big to fall. He believed the rules didn't apply to him. Thought he could keep chasing 19-year-olds while mocking the dignity of black women, and no one would call it out. Thought he could bury the past with hush money, and NDAs like Karma couldn't find his address. But Karma don't cash checks, and now the whole empire is crashing around him in real time. And no amount of thirst traps on Instagram can distract from it now. What's wild? This might just be the beginning. Because Gabriela Zuniga's team? Oh, they're not finished. Word on the street says more audio clips are coming, more text receipts, maybe even full-blown videos. And if what's already leaked was bad, you ain't seen nothing yet. And here's the kicker. Shannon might not be the only one going down. Yup, there are whispers that more names could be caught up in the mess, and when those next drops hit, it's gonna get ugly. So if you thought this was the peak of the scandal, buckle up, because it's just getting started. Don't miss a second of the fallout. Like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications, because this tea is still boiling, and the next cup might just burn the whole house down.